Okay, we will call our meeting to order, and we welcome everybody here this evening. We will now have our city clerk take roll call.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner York.
Here.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Here.
Mayor Van Oster.
Here.
And Commissioner Maxon is absent this evening.
Okay. All right, tonight's invocation will be given by Pastor Kevin O'Connor from the Agape Fellowship Church. We welcome you this evening, Pastor O'Connor.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunities that we have to come here, Lord. We pray for our commissioners, Lord. We pray that you would help us as we come to discuss the business of the city, Lord. We pray that you would lead us and guide us and help us to make the decisions that would best honor you and help this community. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Okay. We will now have review of our agenda. Does anybody have any changes to make to the agenda before we begin?
Nope.
No? None? Okay, then we will proceed on to our consent agenda. The first item, which consists of 3 items, the first of being the City Commission meeting minutes from Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. Number 2 is a second reading of Ordinance S-21-03, which is an ordinance to rezone certain properties owned by Coffeeville Resources Refining and Marketing within the city of Coffeyville. And number 3 is the 2021 appropriation ordinance number AO-21-12 in the amount of $8,220,078.26. Do we have any discussion on those?
I'll go through and just hit some of the highlights. Like I said, this was a pretty large appropriation ordinance, over $8 million for this last 2 weeks. So I'll break down. We had 6 bond payments in the amount of $3,558,733. We had our power purchase from GRDA for $2,757,843. Southwest Power Pool purchase $591,006. KMG, which is a gas purchase, $149,199. The library treasurer payment, that was a third tax payment to them, $137,205. We had $143,108 in health claims. We paid the sales tax. We did a sales tax distribution to CRMC for $82,200. We had some utilities we had to pay for ourselves, $23,505. Kansas Department of Revenue, $49,065. Kansas Highway Patrol, we purchased a 2019 Dodge Charger, $21,700. Southwest Power Pool Administration, $23,014. Asplin Tree Service for tree trimming, $20,522. Fleet Fuels, that's fuel for the vehicles, $14,959. Lochner for our lighting system, $13,245. Hawking, which was for chemicals, $12,038. Brentig Southwest, I think, $12,543. That's for polymer. Airport had $10,251. Jared Gilmore Phillips, $9,500. Those were audit fees. We can go on down the list. There's a lot more. If you want, payroll was a little over $400,000. So, like I said, this was a large appropriation ordinance, much larger than our normal one. So, anyone want to talk about any in detail, I'll be more than happy to share with you. We can go farther, but I don't want to bore everyone with all of it.
Would it be possible for, maybe Stephanie, you can address this, but go over what those bond payments were for what those cover? Since that is a fairly large amount.
We had payment for $494,582.50 was for the 2016 A bonds, which is the payments for the municipal building renovations, the debt service on those. We had the electric distribution, the 138 kV lines that we had done bond service on, that was $25,330 on interest for those. 3 of the payments, one for $517,714.38, one for $1,786,833.12, and one for $537,177.50. Those are all related to the new generation plant. Part of those being taxable and the other part non-taxable. And then the final bond debt service payment that we had was on the 2013A, and that is a final payment on the stadium debt service that we had. So that
Good.
pays that completely off.
Good,
Good.
very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? If nobody else does, I move to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Bauer to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner York,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster,
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Next, under the consent agenda is item number 4, which is a 2021 appropriation ordinance number AO-21-12A for Isham Hardware and Liebert Brothers in the amount of $10,821.06.
The only thing, this was for a 120-gallon hot water tank, so. Any other questions, comments? I'll make a motion to approve item 4 on the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Bauer, seconded by Commissioner York to approve item 4 of the consent agenda as presented. Vice Mayor Doan,
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster,
Abstain?
Commissioner Bauer,
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to our next item, comments by the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized. Please advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Do we have anybody that would like to come up and say anything this evening? Okay, then we will move on to our regular agenda items. First, we have public hearings, special presentations, and proclamations. We have the Coffeeville Police Department presentation of the Coffeyville, Nowada County 911 agreement. Our Chief of Police, Quinn Bromley, and Coffeyville Police Department dispatcher, Chad Souls, will make this presentation.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Before we get started, I'd like to make an announcement. We have some guests here that are part of this presentation. Sheriff McLean from Nowada County is here. The chairperson for the Nowada County Commission is also here, Mr. Bert LaRue, as well as the chairman for the 911 Trust Authority out of Nowada County, Jerome Jeninek. I probably butchered that. Sorry. Common spelling. Sorry.
Welcome, you guys.
Welcome.
Yes.
You may recall, a little over 2.5 years ago, we began this process to offer 911 services to Nowada County for the entire county, not just the northern half. I'm pleased to announce that we're at that point now. Everything has been approved. Mr. Kreitz drafted up, as you recall, back in, I believe it was in late 2019, a resolution to execute a, I just lost it, memorandum of agreement between the City of Coffeyville and Nowada County. Both Kansas Attorney General and the Oklahoma Attorney Generals approved that. And there were some other hoops we had to go through. To say that the process was smooth is an understatement. But I will let our communications director, Chad Souls, go into the details of what this actually entails.
Thank you, Chief, Mayor, Commissioners. Basically, what's getting ready to transpire is we will be answering all of the 911 calls via cell phones, landlines, and voice over IP. And what we'll be doing is processing the fire and medical with the protocols that we have put in place that we just recently did all of our training for. And any law enforcement will be transferred back down to McLean staff and stuff. So it is a pleasure to actually be able to work with another community.
Great.
Good.
Good.
I will point out that we will be the only county in the state of Kansas providing 911 services outside the state of Kansas. So it's an interesting first step for the state of Kansas, to say the least. So.
Great.
Very good.
Great.
It appears to be a
Thank you.
really good partnership from what I've read here, so I think it's a wonderful effort. And I know Chad's put a ton of work into this, and so thank you.
I don't know if any of you gentlemen would like to come up and say anything?
They
Or
looked
at
right
least
at you,
stand
They
up,
looked
at
right
least
at you,
stand up and
Jerome.
let us
Come
see.
on. Come on up, sir.
Last time I spoke, I was down with a cold.
I don't want to put him on the spot.
No. If you go into the mic, the people that are watching on TV can hear you that way, so it makes it better for them, so.
Okay.
Yep.
No problem.
Thank you.
No, it has been an ordeal. We worked, we had several revisions. I had to come up with a plan, a deployment plan for Nowada County, and Chad was extremely instrumental in providing what I needed in that plan. And we had several revisions, and each time there was a clarification that the 911 Management Authority in Oklahoma wanted clarified. And it was just, this was new to them. This is new technology for Oklahoma, because you're ahead of the bubble as far as with the next generation 911, and it's new coming into Kansas. And so Nowada County will be the first county with next generation going forward. And so we're looking forward for this. And it's been, like I say, it's the guys here, Chad, Quinn, great people to work with to get this
Great.
through. So I was really glad. And I'm glad for the patience, because we kept getting this negative result. At the same time, well, we like you, but we just don't know, we don't have the rules in place to regulate, and didn't know. So, but it's all worked out fine.
Great.
And now I'm waiting on AT&T to dot the i's and
Yes.
cross the t's, because they have a lot of work to do.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's
So,
great.
But thank you again. Thank you very much
Yes.
for
Thank
acknowledging
you.
and approving it.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you very much.
Thank all of
Okay.
you.
Yes.
Thank you from the
Yes.
city.
This agreement will also improve services for us, because our intention is to take some of the revenues and hire additional personnel to
Okay.
work in the communication center. So
Okay.
it'll actually improve quality of services that we provide to both our citizens as well as those in Nowada County. So
Okay, great.
Did you document some of the hoops and process and everything so we can help out our neighbors in the future?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because we've already had another community out in Oklahoma reach out to us requesting
Yeah.
services, so we shall see how that goes.
All right.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much for
stuff.
all your work. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
Okay, moving on. We do not have any old business this evening. We will move on to new business. We now have the Parks Board discussion of the Parks and Trails Master Plan for 2030. Our city manager, Mr. Mark Hall, and Parks Board members will make our comments this evening.
Let me get, there we go.
All right, good evening, Commissioners. I'm Frank Hall with the Parks Committee. Tonight, we've got lots to discuss about our plan moving forward for the parks. So, the Parks and Trails Master Plan represents a vigorous commitment by the City of Coffeeville to expand its parks and trail system over the next 10 years. The Master Plan report contains goals and actions which were developed utilizing extensive Parks Board input to help expedite the park trail planning and development process. The master plan is not intended to be recreational master plan, but it is referenced in the Coffeyville Recreation Commission. Due to the time factor tonight, we intend to jump right in, get to the point, a complete inventory of the City of Coffeeville's parks and facilities was conducted in the preparation of this plan. The main purpose behind the inventory was to determine what needs remained, what stayed the same, what changed, what improvements need to happen. Conclusions from that inventory will appear later as we go through our presentation. The City of Coffeyville has not made great strides in the renovation and improvement of the city's parks. This was evident when we did our research on a lot of the parks equipment. The renovation and improvement program for existing city parks is definitely needed. Each park has its own individual renovations and improvements requirements, but common to most were the majority of parks have aged and broken equipment, a lot of the wood's rotten, paint's deteriorated on equipment. It's hard to get parts for them for repairs and so on. All the parks are in need of an upgrade, such as drinking fountains, some new play equipment, some possible shade structures, bathrooms, and so on. Beautification for the parks, landscaping, trees, parks maintenance, painting of restrooms, and resurfacing of sports courts and other paved areas. As you can see on these locations of the city, or are locations of the city parks in Coffeyville, all the little yellow dots indicate a city, or a park, excuse me. There are 2 green spaces, Cartwright Park and Grace Park. And then the park's inventory itself is Eldridge, North Park, Sycamore Park, Leclaire Park, Feaster Park, Harmon Park, Walter Johnson Park, Sherwin-Williams Park, and that's the recreation only one there. And in Exner Park, again, recreation only there. Classifying parks, to address specific park areas, to address specific parks areas needs within the city, certain park area classifications were adopted for the Parks and Trails Plan. The ideal park system for the community is a hierarchy of various park types, each offering certain types of recreation and open space opportunities. Separately, each park type may serve only one basic function, but collectively they will serve the entire needs of the City of Coffeyville. Utilizing this system, the City of Coffeyville can develop a more efficient, cost-effective, and usable park system. The basic classifications are a green space, neighborhood park, community park, regional park, special use recreation facilities. A geographic service area analyzes the ends within the creation of our equity map. For a range of parks now found in the City of Coffeyville, the purpose of this exercise is to analyze the current status of park distribution in relationship to existing population distribution density. The analyst identifies whether or not there are an equitable position of parks by specific classifications for use by all citizens. The map geographically identifies the need for parks by each classification: green space, neighborhood, a community, regional related or population density. In some areas, there may or may not need identified use to sufficient geographical coverage and access to parks within the City of Coffeyville. The current recommendation geographic service radius for selected parks is, so the green space, its 6-block radius is in orange. The neighborhood parks is a half-mile radius, which is in yellow. The community parks is a 1-mile radius, which is in blue. The regional parks, the larger ones, are a 2-mile radius, which is in red. And in special use recreation facilities, there's no specific radius in green. For the analysts show that our community parks in blue within a 1-mile radius lack population. 1/2 of the community parks radius does not have any population at all. The analysis also indicates the need for a new central park based on the lack of coverage. The analyst also indicates the need for a new southern park and the removal of Grace Park to become a green space. Finally, the analysis assisted in where investment should take priority. With that being said, the following slides will show each park condition, and proposed renovation and improvements.
Feaster Park is a 3.16 acre park located in the northern edge. I know you're familiar with it, and that is an aerial picture of the park. This next slide shows the current park equipment, and if you'll notice on several of those pictures, the worn or dated equipment that's in the park. It is one of those that we had a partnership, and there will be a new slide feature that was from GRDA, but this remains the condition of the park. This next slide is down at the shelter, and you can see that is the equipment that is located there. I think the question we all asked is the Parks Board is what generation put that in, because it is very dated and very old, and you can see the condition of the equipment. This next slide shows as far as the recommended changes to Feaster Park in the future that would be done, and that includes one playground, a miscellaneous walking track repair. It is 18 benches, miscellaneous equipment, an embankment slide, which you can see in the red at the bottom, 2 swing areas, native grass area, a additional parking lot, which the converted walking track will be, you see in black, beautification. There will be lighting repairs, and it is a youth fitness climbing area and 5 shelters. It is one of that for a total cost of $312,880,000. This next slide shows Sycamore Park. It's a 2.92 acre park. It is one of those that it is located on the west side, which you're familiar with, is over by the school. There is basically no equipment in that park. There is a soccer goal and an old swing set, but basically that park has no equipment at all, and there's not any walking paths. What you see in this slide is a proposal or a recommendation to the City Commission. The proposed Sycamore Park improvements are 1 playground, 1 volleyball pit, 10 benches, miscellaneous equipment, 1 walking path, which you can see that is that white line throughout the park. It is one of those that will connect 4th Street to 1st Street. And at those points is where we have safe routes to schools. And it will have 5 shelters, a parking lot, which is in the black over on the side for additional parking. There'll be beautification, park lighting, a youth fitness area, which is in blue, and a soccer, which we will make those permanent goals for youth soccer. Those are actually to scale, except some of them I couldn't make them so small because they're only 6 feet. So bear with me on that. If you'll notice in the center, there's a proposed that it be a shelter and 2 benches. That is a nature area. That was suggested by the Parks Board to develop this park, and if you'll, we go back to the geographic analysis, the equity map, this is a populated area that has no park as far as any facilities in it. It's basically barren. So this would add to their quality of life. It is one of those that the next slide, we go to Leclaire. As you're aware, Leclaire, apologize. Leclaire is a 34.29 acre park. It is one positioned in the north central portion of the community. This is a picture of some of the park equipment. This does not include the recreation area, but this is the park area. And as you can see in some of those pictures, it's pretty barren. It does consist of a walking path, but we do have, as far as wood structures in the dock that are deteriorating. A proposal comes to the commission is that we would move to, the Parks Board would move or recommend that the North Park be utilized more. That would consist of 2 playgrounds, of course, miscellaneous repairs, 14 benches, some other miscellaneous equipment, walking path repairs, and as you can see in that picture, it's an extensive walking path. A parking lot on the north, so that way patrons could enjoy the park from the north side. Beautification, lighting repairs, and dock repairs, for a total cost of $324,972. The next slide is Eldridge Park. Eldridge Park is 3.25 acres. It's located in the southwestern portion of the community. As you can see, is basically a park that's not actively used. What the board looked at is at a lower expense, but to repurpose the park. You can see the equipment. Those are some that's familiar to all parks, the merry-go-round, the age. There is missing pieces to the equipment. And one picture shows the shape of, at one time, was a backstop. It has been a neglected park, but it is one of those, this is what is proposed. As you can see, the backstops would be built. There would be 2 practice areas for baseball. Those would be underage. It is one of those are regulation size for youth soccer and junior soccer. Those can be placed, and those goals would be permanent to the park. It is to hopefully turn that into a practice area park. So, as you can see, the entire community could start using Eldridge. Over, if you'll notice, there will be the playground. There will be a total of 1 playground, 5 youth soccer, 1 junior soccer, 4 benches, miscellaneous equipment, a basketball resurfacing, and that is in that area below those 3 youth soccer fields. It is one of those. There'll be 2 youth baseball, beautification, lighting repair, and miscellaneous equipment. That is a total cost of $185,984. The next is this is Harmon Park. Harmon Park is a 3.2 acre park. It is located in the eastern portion of the community, and it was impacted in the 2007 flood. The picture you see is there is newer equipment. There is a shelter. The fenced area is basically non-usable, and it does have the basketball courts, which received 2 basketball courts, and just recently in the painting and striping of lines. What the Parks Board would propose is in this Harmon Park is 1 playground, 2 youth soccer, 4 benches, miscellaneous equipment, 1 basketball court, and if you can see in the yellow, that is actually creating within that and resurfacing that and creating a basketball court, so there would be a total of 3. A pickleball court, which is in the lighter blue below that, beautification, lighting repair, and miscellaneous equipment for a total cost of $240,600. The next is Roosevelt Trail. It is one of those is a 2.2 mile trail. It is located in the proximity of Feaster Park. It is one of those that there is a limited amount, but needed repairs. This would be that we would propose, or the Parks Board would propose, 7 shelters, and these are small shelters, 7 benches, and trail repair and miscellaneous equipment for a total cost of $110,472. Excuse me. The next slide is Walter Johnson. Walter Johnson Park is an 8.15 acre park located in the eastern portion of the community. It was impacted by the 2007 flood. The park is located at the fairgrounds and adjacent to the recreation center. This slide, and if you'll notice that the gazebo that is present, that is rotten. The benches that are in there currently are wood, and those are rotten. The equipment had been updated, but it is going to eventually need repair. The proposal for the park is to add additional, because this is not a park that children can walk to. They can use it from the youth center, but it would be two additional playgrounds and an additional youth climbing fitness. It will be, let me see that. 7 shelters, 2 playgrounds, youth climbing fitness, beautification, 12 benches, and miscellaneous equipment. The horseshoe pit would remain, and in that is if there is any need for repair. If you're aware that the events that we have, most of those people are looking for, at some time, something recreational to go into and take their children to. So that would be the use of that park and the upgrades. That's for a total cost of $156,472. The next is North Park. It is one of those that North Park is located in the north central part of the city, and it's 1.32 acres. It is one of those that we have actually, since pictures were taken, there has been a donation by CVR. So we included that, and you'll see in the next slide, but that is the condition of the playground equipment. It's older. It is one of those, what the Parks Board would propose is on the North Park is 1 youth, and that is in blue, youth fitness and climbing area, 1 soccer, and that would be youth soccer, 5 benches, miscellaneous equipment, a nature area which is in the light green, 2 shelters, parking lot repair, beautification, lighting, and miscellaneous repairs. That is for a total cost of $150,000. We would still use the shelter structure, the larger structure that is in yellow at the park. The next is the new South Park. This is where Grace is located. It is one of those, and I didn't include pictures of Grace, but I think you went by. There's actually a seat cut out made of wood and bolted to it to repair some of the equipment. It is, I think, we'll just say 50s, 60s playground equipment. This is what was classified as green space because it's so small. But in looking at in service to the south area, which is in need of a park to be used by children and adults, the board looking in that area would propose something like you would see here. This is a space, and we would look for others, but this is to the top of the screen is Longfellow School. So this would be in that area that is open. That would consist of 2 playgrounds, 1 youth fitness and climbing area, 8 benches, 2 youth soccer fields, 4 shelters, miscellaneous equipment, and beautification, for a total cost of $156,984. The next and it would basically is the same projected. We would look in the service area in the central portion to provide, so the neighborhoods That is where concentration of population is, but we have no park in that area. North Park, as you can see, is just right north of that area, and we would make that a neighborhood, and that would be something that we would look to install, and that would be new. It is with the same as what you saw in the South Park. We would try to include the same, so that is a total for of $156,984. Now I think I'll pass that on to Marcy.
So why are city parks important? We've listed 3 reasons. Our next slide, there we go, on the slide, but there are more reasons. First, city parks encourage active lifestyles and reduce health costs. Physical activity can reduce or prevent many physical and mental health problems. Parks could also reduce the cost of health care. Maintaining a healthy weight can save up to $1,500 per person in health care costs per year. Second, city parks increase community engagement and assist in reducing crime by engaging residents and fostering a sense of community. Community involvement in city parks have been shown to decrease crime and generate an additional quality of life. Third, city parks strengthen local economies and create job opportunities. City parks attract residents and businesses, increase revenue for cities, spur private investment, and increase job opportunities. Quality of life is most important to firms that prioritize talent attraction and retention. Quality of life plays a part of the business site selection. Currently, 2/3 of the city's workforce lives outside the city limits. Companies want places that reflect their corporate culture or values. City parks truly have an economic impact. So, paying for the plan. How can we pay for such a Parks and Trails master plan? The following 6 principles would be used to guide the financing strategy of the implementation plan. Number 1, the improvement program should be financially feasible and funding sources must be identified and quantified to programmed expenditures. Number 2, the level of funding determined appropriate to match the selected spending priorities of this implementation program should be both sustaining and dependable. Number 3, park usage should define park needs. Number 4, maintenance, operations, and depreciation must be considered in every future park project. Number 5, areas of the city of Coffeyville underserved and lacking accessible and high-quality parks should receive priority in the new project funding. Number 6, the high emphasis of the city of Coffeyville will be placing on progressive renovation and upgrading of existing city parks should be a priority.
Funding of the plan can come from several sources. Local sources include sales tax, utility surcharge and franchise fees, general obligation bonds, revenue bonds, and certificates of participation. Federal funding sources are recreational trail programs, community development block grants, Kansas Safe Routes to School. Other possibilities of funding is the public and private partnerships, which we are currently doing right now with CVR and GRDA. It is one of those that in September of 2022, the half-cent sales tax expires. On behalf of the Parks Board, I would like to ask the City Commission to consider placing the sales tax question before the voters in the November election of 2021. Again, the half-cent sales tax will expire in September of 2022. We would like to ask for half of the expiring half-cent sales tax, which is equal to a 1/4 cent sales tax. to be dedicated to the community development and parks to make the park system one of the best in southeast Kansas. All of Coffeeville will benefit from an excellent park system. Residents and visitors of Coffeeville will be able to experience the changes in their quality of life. Coffeeville residents and visitors will be able to actually touch and experience all improvements to the park. This is not a new sales tax, but a repurposing of a sales tax that will expire in September of 2022. And I want to stress that this is not new. We already have one in place. This would be just continue it on and repurposing it for parks. The sales tax is paid by all consumers, tourists, and locals that to the city. It is one of those that a sales tax is a fair tax. Property tax owners will be relieved of the tax responsibility to provide park improvements to our growing city. It is estimated that 33% of the sales tax collected locally are paid by visitors to Coffeeville. Therefore, people that live outside of the city limits will pay for over 33% of the Parks and Trails Master Plan. All the sales tax revenue for the community development and parks will be used for community development and parks. The city could leverage sales tax revenue for grants, donations to increase park improvements. The city will have a 10-year plan and budget for transparency. Subject to sales tax collected, the city will provide the year each park will be improved according to budget. Year by year, the citizens of Coffeyville will know what is coming and when it will be completed. The next slide will indicate and illustrate the budget process. And I might go, and you have those listed there, but this is 33% of the sales tax is figure that comes from those visitors too. So in looking at this system, if the commission would approve and place on the ballot, those that live outside will pay for a third of everything that you've seen in the slides before. This right here is an example, if allowed the city commission and approved by the Coffeyville voters. The slide shows a 10-year budget for the community development and parks program. The budget would account for every expenditure and record when projects are funded. As you can see, Leclaire Park, and I'm sorry, it's a little smaller than I thought, but Leclaire Park improvements would be completed in the year 2026. The new South Park would be completed in 2025. Sycamore Park improvements, as you can see in the budget, would be completed in 2023. So if there's a question on when a park was going to be done, this is the budget. The more that the sales tax collects, the more donations that are received, that will only add to the more equipment that we can put in parks. But this gives you a conservative budget of a time frame when these things would actually be done in what year. It is kind of a process of priority, but it's also based on collection of revenue and how it fits. So that would be an example for the public to understand that if approved by the voters and allowed to be on the ballot, that you would actually know when that park was going to be completed. And there's not any question. Each park has a year of start to finish. So, the next slide is Frank's.
I'm the guy you've been waiting for. I'm the closure guy, right? Okay. So we, as the board, Parks Board, got Robert Tribal, Lisa Brookover, Marcy Roberts, and Marcus was not able to be here this evening, myself, Frank Hall, but we as a park board would like to thank the city commission for at least looking at our plan. We have put a lot of effort into this. We've visited all the different sites at various times to see the activities in the parks, how they're being used. We don't take this for granted. I mean, we see the future of Coffeeville improving and getting better. The concern is paying for it. I mean, that's a huge concern, as everyone probably knows that, and the numbers show that, and we're thinking the same thing. But if we have a plan going forward, we wanted to come and present you with the issues that we have with the park and see what we see, and then also offer a solution to get past that and make our community better. So without anything else, that's all I have for our Parks Board, unless you have any questions.
So one question, it's not a huge deal, but in North Park,
Mhm.
the wildlife area.
Nature area.
Yeah, the nature area. I mean, in the picture, it just kind of looked like an area. I mean, it was a pretty
Just
good
like a
size
little
area.
cutout, yeah.
Yeah. So what? I noticed it was $20-some thousand. So what goes in that area?
That would be a path through that, and there would be more of benches and this stuff to enjoy the nature of that. It's with the same principle as you'll see in Sycamore. It's actually taking time to walk on a path in solitude that you could go in and have and experience nature in there, be it wildlife that's in there, birds or this. But it would be more of a solitude path through that in the clearing and thinning out of what is existing in there.
So that one specific, we also looked at maybe a dirt bike trail or BMX bike trail. I mean, so there was other thoughts that were put into that one. And we thought that might be a better one. So you have stuff for maybe the older community, and you also have the stuff for young kids playing soccer and such.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Commissioners. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I know I've heard you've all been meeting on Saturdays and evenings and so forth, and I have been very excited to see your presentation. And I think this is very good.
There's a lot of work that's went into this. Yeah.
5.5 years I've been on the commission almost. This is exactly what I've been asking for.
Very
You know,
good.
it's easy to come and say, hey, we want this, and this needs fixed, right? But here you go.
You got
This
this.
shows you exactly what we have and where we need to go, right? Or where we want to go.
And where we can find the money.
Right.
That's the big thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it was adding up. I mean, we're a little over $2 million from what I could add up out of that. So it's a pretty good chunk of funds. So, yeah.
But it's progressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. We will now move on to Resolution R-21-35, which is a resolution to approve the purchase of 2 hydrovac excavators for the electric, water, and wastewater departments. Our Director of Public Works, Mr. Jim Bradshaw, and our Director of Electric Utility, Mr. Mike Shook, will make comments.
Mayor, Commissioners, the electric, water, and wastewater utilities has for many years requested the assistance of our wastewater utility and their large sewer main vacuum truck to help excavate areas and right-of-ways and easements when preparing to install and maintain our underground utilities. Due to the congested nature of these right-of-ways, although the sewer main truck has hydrovac capabilities, the truck was not designed to perform this such work. Currently, we are seeing an increase with additional utility infrastructure being installed within a right-of-way, such as communication fiber networks, which make it nearly impossible for us to dig safely in these areas with our conventional trucks, augers, backhoes, and traditional excavating equipment. With our water and wastewater and electric utility partnering, several manufacturers were brought in to demo their respective hydrovac units. Due to the expected frequency of the use of this type of equipment, it was determined to attempt to purchase 2 units, one for the water and wastewater and one for the electric. Vermeer provided the best option along with the most competitive pricing for the trailer-mounted hydrovac excavation units. Staff is recommending that the mayor be authorized to direct the finance director to issue a purchase order in the total amount of $99,667.12 to Vermeer Great Plains for the purchase of 2 Vermeer CV 500 SG trailer-mounted hydro excavators for the electric, water, and wastewater utility departments. Try to answer any questions you might have.
So these were in your budget for this year?
Yes, actually, we started putting some of these items in our budget back in 18.
Right.
So they are budgeted items.
And Mike would be glad to answer questions too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He looks like we did rock, paper, scissors, and I lost.
Please include Mike.
So it'll do everything we want it
To do.
Yeah,
Obviously have
yeah.
one that doesn't quite fit our total need.
The one that
The
we,
trailers are gonna be better than what we have. as
they can
far
get
as
into,
getting in.
yeah, they can get into the easements easier. Like I say, the large sewer vac cleaner, I know you've seen it out, it's a large truck. You know, it's difficult to get in off the pavements. It wasn't designed to excavate the smaller holes like some of us need, because it's the large capacity hoses and vacs.
It's just not as nimble, we can't get it in service. And as Jim indicated, we've carried this on our individual budget for at least the last 2, if not 3 years.
Yeah.
We considered buying one, but as much as we have a need for one, I think we'll probably be in service. And this way, if one does happen to break,
We got a
You've
backup.
still got
Yeah.
a backup. Okay. I don't either. Very good. If no more questions, then I will move to approve Resolution R-21-35 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Vice Mayor Doan to approve Resolution R-21-35 as presented. Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
gentlemen.
gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Okay, moving on. Our next item on the agenda is discussion and action to approve a 2021 cereal malt beverage license for King's Mart. Our city clerk, Melissa Carter, will make comments on this.
Mayor and Commissioners, King's Mart convenience stores have applied for cereal malt beverage licenses for locations at 705 West 11th and 1610 West 8th. The KBI background checks are complete and inspections on the properties are up to date. They were completed by the Coffeeville Fire Department in December, as these locations hold CMB licenses with the current owners. Copies of the applications and supporting documents are available in the city clerk's office. I am recommending approval from the commission for the 2021 cereal malt beverage licenses for both locations of King's Mart to be able to complete the CMB application process. I will be happy to answer any questions you have.
I have any questions?
I don't either.
I don't know. I'll move to approve 2021 cereal malt beverage licenses for King's Mart.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Commissioner Bauer to approve 2021 cereal malt beverage licenses for King's Mart. Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye. Okay, next, moving on, will be our report from our city manager.
Mayor, Commissioners, first want to thank staff. Hot, crazy weather. When we think there's a drought, then all of a sudden we get a little rain. So they are working very hard. I am very proud what we're trying to get accomplished this summer. We are doing a lot of projects, and we're kind of staying out front. But when it does rain on those odd days, it does set us back on mowing. So they continually keep ahead of it. We have. I think the public's recognized that we're doing things, more things, as far as in the community. Street sweeper, these kind of things are all working to make Coffeeville the best it can be. But that goes for the other departments that might not be out. You know, customer service, of course, electric's out. We kind of keep them like stepchildren because, you know, electric's separate. But it is one of those, they're working and progressively getting things done to make our electric system second to none. So I just want to thank them for what they do, and they are, instructed to take the breaks and drink water, keep hydrated. Other than that, we have a lot of things that are coming up, especially in this next 6 months. Of course, we're waiting, hopefully, sometime in the not too distant future about housing. So we're leaning forward. The department's still progressing, to let you know. We will probably present in the next meeting things or suggestions, recommendations to the commission. But we've got the application process behind us. So we're now going to run and do all these other things and have discussions with HUD and USDA further. And then hopefully everything will hit and we'll hit the ground running. So I'm pretty proud of everybody all that they're doing and trying to grow Coffeyville. They're really dedicated. They're a dedicated group of people. So if there's any questions, I'd be glad to entertain those.
You have any? Okay.
Oh, I forgot one thing. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I want to, we met with the library board. They were very gracious and very understanding and very courteous, and we appreciate them. They understood our situation, and we have a better understanding of their situation. I think it'll be resolved. We have assistance from the auditing firm. They kind of help, and it is one of those that, you can't expect any agency to sit there and run numbers when their profession is something else. It's a part, and of course, we have a finance director that's all she, well, I don't want to say that's all she does. I mean, I almost messed up.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just gonna say that's her priority. But it is one of those that the library is good people. They're good people and they care, and they're rightfully so. They've got a great library. And as explained, we need a library in Coffeeville. You can't have a great city without a library. But I think working the goal and the basic everybody wanted to is if we can hold down taxes, if we can keep from growing those and passing that burden on, that's what our true responsibility is. And I think that was expressed by both parties, and just want to let you know that it's going along. It'll be all remedied, and we can keep that on the table. So
I appreciate you reaching out to them and going to their meeting as well. I think it was very beneficial for both groups, so.
Well, and they had brownies.
Yeah.
So how could you not go? So they were great. They were great people. They were great people.
Yeah, Mark. I think that was Stephanie's job, right?
That's one of her in addition.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mark, very much for all your comments, and thank you for all you do, too, for our city. We will move on now to comments from commissioners and staff. Does anybody have anything in particular?
I just noticed the sales tax. We're kind of maintaining there, It went down just a smidge, but I'm going to be optimistic. Last year was beyond amazing, so we're still ahead of 2 years ago, so.
That's right. That's right.
Summer celebrations coming up.
Yes.
Gonna be
July
before our
10th.
next meeting.
Yep.
So, July 10th. Hope everyone goes out.
Ought to
Gonna
be
be a
a
good one.
fun event.
Yep.
Very good, very good.
Group does a fantastic job. Guess I need to turn my mic on us.
Yeah.
Paying attention to Mark. But yeah.
I wanted to call out, so we've got Mr. Martin and Mr. Johnson in the crowd tonight. So they have an event coming up in September, correct? Called Cruising Coffeeville. And so if folks keep up on Facebook, they've seen a lot of sponsorships come out of that. And so I want to applaud your efforts in regards to that as well. So thank you, guys. Ought to be a fun event also.
Okay. I have nothing, so we will move on. Tonight, we do have executive session for the preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property. So at this time, I will make a motion to recess to executive session to discuss the acquisition of real property pursuant to the open meetings exceptions set forth in KSA 75-4319B6, which will include the city attorney, the city manager, finance director, and director of electric utility to reconvene in the commission room at, and you're going to have to tell me how long we're going to need for this,
15 minutes? Sound good?
okay? So
10 or 15, whichever.
let's reconvene 7:45. Does that be all right?
Yes.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Bauer to recess to executive session to discuss the acquisition of real property pursuant to the open meetings exception set forth in KSA 75-4319B6 to include the city attorney, city manager, finance director, and director of electric utility to reconvene in the commission room at 7:45. Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Okay.